Welcome to Pre-Calculus. This is Unit 1, Lesson 10, and our key goal for this lesson, this video, is an inverse is a function that reverses another function by swapping input and output values. So think about it. You're given an equation that represents W, that is weight for dogs, and K is the calories that they feed your dog or puppy or whatever, right? And you're asked, hey, if you feed your puppy 800 kilocalorie a day, that's okay. What can you predict will be their adult weight? So that KB 800, and you plug it in, use a calculator to find 11.28 kg. So when I plug in 800 for K, right, I get 800 divided by 130 to the power of 4/3. That's 11.27 or 28. I did 11.28 kg. Wow, that was loud. Okay, 11.28 kg. Same thing here. If you want your dog to weigh 15.2 kg, that's your K, right? That's a weight W. That's a W. Weight. How many calories should you feed him a day? Now you have the inverse. You have the other thing, right? You are given the weight and asked to find the kilocalories, so you will unravel it. Okay. So let's begin. I plugged in 15.2 for as W as weight, and I'm trying to solve for K. One thing to realize is a 4/3 basically means that it's power of 4 and you're cube rooting it. You're cube rooting it and it's power of 4. How can I undo cube rooted? Well, I'm gonna cube it. I'm gonna cube 15.2. 15.2, cube that. I get 3511.808. It's about to fall again. Okay, I'm going to keep it here. Okay. 35.1180 equals K to the 130 power of 4. How do I get it to the power of 4? Well, I 4th root it. I 4th root on both the sides. So how do I 4th root this? Well, you go to math. Number 5. Change this to 4. You're 4th rooting this number. And you get 7.698. See if you can follow along with my calculator, okay? 7.698 equals K over 130. I'm gonna multiply by 130 on both the sides so I can isolate my K. And I get, what is it that I get? Times 130. If when I times by 130, I get 1000.75. That's the calorie that my dog needs to eat, I guess. Same thing again. See if you can do number 2. Pause the video and see if you can do the same process to do number 2. And number 3. See, you will cube it, 4th root it, and then multiply by 130. Cube it, 4th root it, and then multiply by 130. You could definitely 4th root it first and then cube it. Whichever one you guys want to do. I cube rooted that first, and then I guess I cubed it, and then 4th rooted that, and then multiply by 130. Remember the process, right? Remember the process. So you're asked to write the equation that outputs the number of calories. Well, you cube it. Have a look here. You're given a weight. You will cube it, 4th root it, and then multiply by 130. That becomes your equation. Cube it, 4th root it, and then multiply by 130. Let's check our answers. See if you can check your answers. Here you were supposed to plug in 15.2 for W, right? Let's see if it makes sense. You're doing 130 times 15.2 to the power of 3/4. You should get 1000.75. That's what we get, 1000.75. Same thing here, 130 times, now instead of 15.2, you're plugging in 30 to the power of 3/4. And you get 1666.42. See if you can plug in 9 into this function and get the same answers. How did I get this function? Let's look at the proof here. Okay, your original function was w equals k times 2 over 130 to the power of 4/3. I would rather write it in terms of y and x. So my equation is y equals x divided by 130 to the power of 4/3, right? And then I swap x in order to find your inverse functions, you swap x and y. Here there was y was right there and x was right there. So I swapped x for y. And now I'm trying to solve for y again. To undo 4/3, I need to do 3/4 the x on both the sides. When I add 3/4, I get 1 here. So I'll be left with y over 130. And then this multiplied by 130 on both the sides, I get y equals 130 x 3/4. In our case, your y represents your calories and your x represents your weight. In the original case, your y represented your weight and your x represented your calories. When you inverse it, they represents the opposite things. That's how I got it. Right? So interaction with new material, remember swap y for x, right? Your first equation was y equals x thirds plus 4. I swap x for y to find my inverse function. You're asked to find your inverse functions, right? F inverse, G inverse. So when I swap x for y, right, I get x equals y divided by 3 plus 4. Now I'm trying to solve for y. I'm going to subtract 4 on both the sides and then multiply by 3. I get y equals 3 times x minus 4, which is just 3x minus 12. So f inverse is just 3x minus 12. If you plug in some points, let's say if you plug in 3 for x here, right? You get 3 divided by 3, which is 1, and 1 plus 4 is 5. If you plug in 5 here, you should get 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 minus 12 is 3. So they inverse each other. See if you can do g of x. Pause the video and see if you can do g of x by swapping y and x, and see if you get g of inverse as x squared plus 5. I'm going to pause you should pause the video and solve it, and I'm going to explain this video right now. Okay, first thing, swap y for x, right? Solve for y after that. I'm going to square both the sides because it's square rooted. I get x squared equals y minus 5. I add 5. I get y equals x squared plus 5. So g inverse is x squared plus 5. See if you can plug in some points. Plug 6 for x. 6 minus 5 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. So when I plug in 1 for y, I want for x here, I should get 6 as g inverse is this function. 1 squared is 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. I am getting that. So here, let me write it down. I'm plugging 6 here, I get 1. I'm plugging 1 here, I get 6. See how they interchanged it? Yeah, this should be the end of this video and lesson. If you have any questions, use my office hours. But yeah, this should be the end of this video.